What's up, guys, and welcome. Here we are. It is Chat with Gunner. This is one of our evening editions. Usually I like to do the business, the sales type episodes during the middle of the day. But you know what? This is not the middle of the day. This is 5 p.m., and we got a really special guest for everybody, a guy that can actually bring a lot of value to the table today. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the LinkedIn comments below, and we'll get to them. We'll pop them up, and we'll let him answer any questions that we might possibly have. But without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that's created his own company, the guy that's been around selling all over the world, the guy that's been up late at night in Miami because I know the story, selling to a company that might have been in Alaska. We're going to hear all about it. We're going to bring on the man, Jordan Stupar. Jordan, thanks for coming on, boss.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm great. You know, it's Chattanooga. The weather's terrible down here right now. All it's doing is raining. And then when it's not raining, the steam's coming off the ground because it's so damn hot. Other than that, great. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. We just got done with all the rain that you're probably getting right now, and we actually have some sunshine. So looking out my window,
Well, hey,
I'm happy with it.
that's great stuff. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming onto the show. I know you're a busy guy. You're over there. You're starting your company, and you are kind of startup as well, as coming from the ground up. Kind of give the people, the audience, a little bit of information about who you are and what you're doing right now, and then we can go from there and dive into it.
For sure. So my name is Jordan. I'm a normal, average, everyday guy from Wisconsin, Milwaukee to be specific. I'm the founder and CEO of my own company, Stupar Enterprises, and we have a litany of sales and business products that we provide not only businesses at large, small, medium, but also a lot of individuals with sales people that are ambitious, trying to make more out of themselves and trying to get more out of the market, something that I've been doing for a really long time. And I'm just gifted and passionate helping other people do that. So everything sales, everything business, I'm there for it. And I'm constantly trying to learn and grow my own company as well.
Well, that's sweet, dude. So tell me a little bit. I mean, I know I'm a guy that I go through, I do my research, I stalk people. That's kind of what I do, especially people that I think that are doing really good things and guys that I see that have things that maybe I want or skills that I'm trying to acquire or whatever that might be. So I ran across you during my deep dive on Grant Cardone. I ran across you in a couple of YouTube videos where I think it might have been, I'm trying to think of who, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Al. I don't know who it was. Somebody had you on their podcast, and I guess it was when you was with Grant during that time. He was one of the top producers for him, and you were kind of telling some stories there, just basic sales type stuff, getting the message across, but also telling your story a little bit and how you landed. I believe it was some car dealerships out in Alaska, or it might have been.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. When I first moved down to Miami, I had no idea really what I was selling. I hadn't read any of Grant's books or anything like that. I just figured he was an influential, successful person. So anything could be better than the job that I was working at in New York City at the time. So I moved down there. And at the time, like, I just ended up getting a computer. I got a desk phone, a legal pad, and a pen. And I was like, cool, like, where's the leads? Like, who do I call on? They're like, go to Google, type in car dealerships like Houston, go to the maps, find the little red dot, go to the website, click meet the staff, and then on your legal pad, write down the dealership name, phone number, the general manager's name, and then pick up the phone and call them. I was like, sounds good. And so obviously with any sales job, regardless of how good you are at sales, there's going to be some type of learning curve of your product, the industry, how to sell it, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, like anyone, I was going through that. But I realized that that I needed to make some money. Like, I didn't go down there with any money. I had maybe $800 in my pocket. And so I became the guy that ended up asking the COO of the company for a key to get in the office. So I was the first one there at like 7 a.m. And then I was really the last one to leave. And I would end up staying at the office till 10, sometimes 11 o'clock there in South Beach while everyone's partying, having drinks. And I was making cold calls to Alaska because there was a 6 hours time difference. And so all my first deals that like helped pay my bills and help me survive during that learning curve pretty much all came from Alaska, I think, because they just felt bad for me. Because I'd be like, hey, it's Jordan. I'm over here in Miami. And they're like, dude, really? Like, right. Well, that story is kind of fun. And so, yeah, I think that was probably a podcast that I was on. And by the way, like back in the day when people were like, dude, you want to be on a podcast? I was like, me on a podcast? I felt pretty cool about that. So that I always like looking back at some of that content.
Yeah, well, that's where you started, right, man? That's where it all kind of came. Now, were you doing sales prior to taking this chance down in Miami?
A long time. I started in that job in Miami in 2013, and
Okay,
I unofficially got started in sales when I was still in high school, doing some odd jobs like selling, Cutco knives or vacuum cleaners during the summer. But
sure.
I probably had, I know I had 8 years of door-to-door experience and maybe 2 or 3 years of inside sales experience before actually going to that job.
Now, how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, so you got me a little bit. I'm 31, so you got me about 4 years. I'm gonna catch you. I got you.
Sooner or later, you'll catch me.
Yeah, that's right. A couple more trips around the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, door-to-door sales, that's something that's very difficult. Is that something that you kind of was natural to you, and then you was like, if I can do this door-to-door, I can do it on the phone, no problem. Is that what
Well,
your thought process was?
it was semi-natural for me. I've always had a natural proclivity and a little bit of an innate gift, I suppose, to just talk to people. But I won't say that it came natural to me as like being a successful door-to-door salesperson. It took me 2.5 weeks to land my very first sale going door to door. And I almost gave up like 50 times because it's just it's humiliating to just walk door to door and not get anything from it. And there's no salary or anything like that. And you're also watching other reps, put up 2 deals, 3 deals, 4 deals a day, and you're trying as hard as you can, and you just haven't yet figured out how to really do it. And so after 2.5 weeks, though, that first sale, that was what I like to call the heroin in my vein. I was like, I was on cloud 9. I made some money. Somebody said yes to
Right.
me. And I've been in sales ever since.
Well, I mean, it is like that, man. As soon as you get that first sale, it kind of gives you those the adrenaline factor, right? It's like anything, like hitting a really good ball or getting a big hit in football or whatever it might be, hitting that game-winning shot. You land a big customer, it's the same type of feeling.
For sure.
Now, okay, so and I'm starting to. Okay, we do Cardone University, and listen, I've talked to Dale. Dale's your boy. It seems like he's doing really well. I've kind of followed his journey because he came on as I kind of found you.
Yeah.
It's a funny story. All that's kind of cool, anyways. But he's a really nice guy, and I've talked to him back and forth. I've bought your cash cards. I've bought 3 sets of the cash cards. I've gave them to my sales reps. I'll probably get some more to give to the rest of them.
Appreciate
But
that.
but we do Cardone University, and you no longer are with Grant and his team, right?
Correct.
So I've seen other people also do similar things. So Mike Bonnet was the one that signed us up, and I thought Bonnet was great at what he did. He was a smooth talking sales guy, and that's kind of why we went with him. I like that type of stuff.
He's a good guy.
Where's the disconnect? Why do they go down there and learn? Is it like how to start your business university, and now I'm going to start my own thing, kind of doing similar stuff, but maybe to a more modernized approach to more people my age with more fresh content? Is that everybody's thought process, or do people get stuck down there? Like, what's the vibe? Because I see so many people leaving.
Well, statistically, if you're an established company and you have a top performer that's just always showing up and always just somebody you can rely on to be, the top dog, if that person ends up leaving the company, statistically, nearly 70% of the other top performers will leave within the next 3 years. I don't know if that's 1000% accurate. It's off the top of my head from something that I've read in the past, but it's somewhere in there where when somebody
Say that one more time. Say it one more time. Sorry.
When an established company has a top performing rep, and that person ends up leaving for any reason whatsoever, about 70% of the other accompanying top performers in that company end up also leaving within a span of about 3 to 4 years. I believe that's the statistic I read. It's fairly accurate. Maybe I'm missing a number or two, but at the end of the day, the vibe there was kind of the ride or die type thing, because when I came in, Cardone's training company there was really, honestly, kind of a startup. Like, I was one of maybe 4 salespeople that they had over there, and we all came from the absolute bottom. And so we kind of all had to watch each other, kind of get to making $100,000 and making 2, 3, 4, 500,000 and moving into nicer apartments. And it felt like a ride or die community. And we were all there making money. I don't think that at any point in time, any of us really thought we could go elsewhere and really make as much money when when you're making 500 grand a year, those are platinum handcuffs, especially in Miami with the lifestyle. And so from the standpoint of me, though, the reason why I left, I was the banner salesperson there. My numbers speak for themselves. And when I decided to leave, it wasn't really like anything particular like happened. It was really just an assortment and a collection of things that happened. One is when I was 26 and I started working there, I made a promise to myself on a street corner on 71st and Collins. And I promised myself that if I don't have $1 million in cash in the bank by the time I'm 30 years old, I'm going to quit this opportunity and on to the next thing. I didn't really know what that was or anything. And so I had $309,000 in the bank when I turned 30. And it took me a couple months to really kind of like make the decision, but I stayed true to my promise and I wanted to find something else to do. The other side of it is that while you're working for somebody that commands that much attention in the marketplace and has that many followers and that large of an audience, and also when it's that small of a company starting off before you had all those different employees and different departments, you get to watch kind of like how it's done. And I will say that obviously things could have been done better. There's also a lot of things that were done exceptionally well. So I'm able to take notes and an inventory of how this company kind of got built and how it got to where it got to be. And quite frankly, just to be 100% transparent, I've always been entrepreneurial, but I've never been the type of person that has the patience or the skill set to like build something like a phone or a printer or, you know, any other type of product. And when I realized that I was doing a better job of training and actually being involved and engaging with my customers and helping move that needle, that's when it clicked for me that I could also take my approach, which I believe is entirely different than the person I was working for, and I could drive that value home into, with my customers much more effectively than I could in the position that I was at. So like anything, it was kind of a perfect storm of things that caused me to jump ship and caused me to leave. And so for that reason, I was out.
No, it makes sense, man. And so pretty much what you're saying is you ended up selling yourself more to these people than you were selling the program. They were just getting the program along with that. And you're like, oh, I am the sale. You know, I am the product for the most part. And I bet I could do this. Yeah. It's great.
And a lot of the things that I just knew that my approach and what I could teach my clients was just more valuable than the product that I was selling. And when obviously you start to lose the belief or conviction that you have in the product that you sell, you stop selling it.
So you have $390,000 in the bank. You're 31 years old. You've been working there for what, 5 years, I guess, roughly? No, 4 years.
About 3.5 years.
Okay, so you're 30, 31 years old, $390,000 in the bank, and you go, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna go back home, and I'm gonna figure something out. And then you went into a software business. So, like, what was the next step?
So the next step for me is that I didn't go home right away. I ended up living in Miami, I think, for another 1.5 years or so because I enjoyed the scenery, if you will. And sooner or later, I connected with somebody that I had previously sold to, another entrepreneur. And he was kind of like the tech, the coder, you know, he could build stuff. He has built stuff. And we created, obviously, a friendship. And so I reached out to him and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but again, I didn't want to build anything. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, I hate CRMs. He's like, interesting. I was like, you want to build one? He's like, sure, man. Send over a Google sheet of like Jordan Stupar's dream CRM and like what the features, you know, would be. I was like, okay, cool. I shot it over to him and we just started kind of building it while I lived in Miami. I also realized that if I was going to be the CEO and I was going to be the, you know, the front man of a tech company, parking a startup tech company in a place like Miami is an awful idea because nobody is going to be able to afford to work for you.
Right.
I moved to Milwaukee, much more affordable town, also my hometown. And so I started that company and we built it. And I won't say that it was like some unbelievable success story and that I sold the company for $1 billion valuation, created a unicorn, and now I'm just back in the trenches because I love working. That's definitely not the true story. true story is we scaled it probably to several $100,000. And the problem with technology, because we didn't get any funding and we weren't doing any rounds of funding from investors or anything like that, like 99.9% of tech companies are going to do, is we just bootstrapped the whole thing and just reinvested our revenue right back into the products. But the problem is that you're competing with the HubSpots, the Salesforces of the world and the like. And just the way technology works, it's just on a timeline. And so we calculated that if we really wanted to execute and have a truly retail ready software that we could go into large companies and get those big paydays with, we would need several thousand developers on payroll every day just to kind of catch up to the pace, the quickness, and just the overall functionality of what we had. However, I had the different features that I was looking for: lead generation, the ability to measure calls based on the call recordings, yada, yada. Those are the things that were valuable. So in 2020, after scaling that to several $100,000, I was able to kind of step away and have a profitable exit from the company from the standpoint of the vision of what that product could end up being.
Now, is that product still out there? Did you just step away
As far as I'm concerned, I believe that it's kind of just being used for parts based on my ideas. I think that there would be it'd be great if somebody else with some seriously deep pockets, wanted to go ahead and invest hardcore into what the vision of it really should have been. But at the end of the day, it's just an insanely hard market to be in if you're really just bootstrapping it.
Right. Hey, speaking of the man, Mike Bonnet down there.
I see my buddy Mikey over here. What's up, Mikey?
Hey, he's a cool dude, man. I like Mike. He
great.
Did a good job selling. Yeah, dude.
He's great people.
Just the way he handles people and his energy and stuff like that. I hate to give him compliments on a live stream, but you got to. So,
man. I worked with Mikey for years, man. He's a great guy. We made a lot of money together.
Cool deal. So you did the software, you got out of there, then you said, all right, now you're married at this point. Wife, fiance?
I took my little baby paycheck from exiting that company, went straight to the jewelry store, bought a big fat 2-carat ring. And the girl that I had been with the whole time, she saw some shit, and so I made sure to put a ring on it. I wanted to get married and settle down with her. So I wasn't married at the time, but we had gotten engaged in February of 2020, right before the whole COVID thing happened. And pretty much I took a month or two off to really start prepping for what I'm doing now. And then I fired that up with Stupar Enterprises.
And now Stupar Enterprises is a sales system. Who's your main target? Who's your clientele? Are you going after people everybody? Okay, so you're doing just like all the other salespeople. Cool. So
everybody. And the reason for that is that if I do have any talent or any God-given gift, it's being able to communicate effectively what I know about sales in today's modern economy to anybody. Doesn't matter if you sell roofs, software, insurance, if you're selling plumbing, HVAC, it doesn't matter, because we all end up selling to other human beings. The only people I can't work with are salespeople that are selling to trees and animals. So if you sell to human beings, I can guarantee to help you.
I gotcha. So what are some takeaways to starting your own sales company, your own sales training company? What's the first thing you do? Obviously, you start with you, right?
Sure.
So kind of walk me through the beginning phases of, all right, I'm Jordan Stupar. I'm creating Stupar Enterprises. Day one, what do we do?
Day one, what we did is I made a post. That was the first thing I did. Is you have an announcement, right? But it was a couple of months of work leading up to that. I think with the 3 businesses that I've started in the past 5 years, if there's one mistake that I always made in the past that I don't make anymore, is I don't talk or hype up anything that I'm doing and then just like do it. I work for months meticulously building the funnels, the processes, the procedures, the systems, and getting everything in alignment so that when you do hit the go button, people actually stick around for the product that you've built. That's something that I failed at doing previously, is just running really fast, trying to get those first couple of dollars in. And really that's pointless, because nobody's really going to stick around, because it's just not going to be a quality experience for that customer. from that standpoint, I started waking up at 3:00 in the morning. That's another kind of little known fact about Jordan Stupar. I've been waking up since 3 a.m. Almost every single day now for about 2 years. And I work lights out until probably 9, 10 o'clock at night and then just go back to bed. That's put me in a position to probably gain an extra 2 years of overall work over everyone else. And I'll put this into perspective. When I started Stupar Enterprises, I launched it July 1st of 2020. I had $800 to my name and I had $117,000 worth of legal debt. And that was kind of like bone crushing. Today, as we stand, I'm a multi-millionaire. We're probably going to do $4 or $5 million this year. We work with over 20,000 different salespeople in 39 different countries. And there's obviously no debt there anymore. That turnaround isn't because I'm better than anybody at anything. I would never say that, but I will outwork anybody that you line me up with. So the 3 a.m. club in my work ethic is really the overall thing that I've been leaning and leveraging on really hard to get myself ahead and to make as much of an impact as I have in such a short period of time.
No, that's great. So you're working pretty much, you cycle your day out. You're just getting the most out of the 18 hours that you can really put in when most people are trying to consume Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and everything. And then they wake up at 8 o'clock and barely make it to work on time. And they're just in the rat race. The rat race is not the job. The rat race is all the stuff you do to make it the rat race, right?
That's facts.
Now, did I say this? Did I hear this wrong? You said you were back down to $800. So you had $390,000 in the bank. And you were back down to $800 when you started Stupar Enterprises?
Yeah, I had a bit of a legal complication 2 weeks into becoming an entrepreneur from my former employer. And that ended up actually impacting me financially pretty good. So I overcame that, ended up moving past that, and obviously carried a lot of legal debt with me as well during that period. And so that's the biggest lessons in life that I've been given is during that time, because it's really dark, it's really lonely. You're still trying to be an entrepreneur, and just so much gold was given to me from that, and I'm so terribly thankful that I had been sued and that I have had conflicts and I've had challenges that most people haven't had to go through, because they've taught me lessons that most people just never will.
Yeah, well, you don't understand that, and you don't get to learn those lessons unless you get to fail a little bit, right? Or get to actually have to go through them. So
that's facts.
It is what it is. All right, so now you're at a point right now in your life where you're multimillionaire. Obviously, you've built up the business. You're starting to bring people in. You've got people selling for you. So who was the first employee? Was it Dale? Was Dale number one?
Dale was employee number one.
Okay. So you bring Dell in and you kind of take a similar model. So these guys, you're like, hey, if you want to work for me, you got to come to me. You got to trust the process. I'm going to teach you to do what I do. And then you're going to go sell people to do what I'm teaching you to do. Right. Is that the game plan?
His main priority was just boxing up, packaging up, and fulfilling cash card orders. When I released cash cards, that was a unicorn product. I literally thought I'd be giving them away for free as a lead magnet, tripwire, whatever. You just pay for shipping. We'll send them to you. And then I would be able to generate a lead for myself. But I ended up selling them at, over 20,000 copies of those things at an average price point of $70 a deck. And so, I was spending 6-8 hours a day just printing out shipping labels, putting them in bubble mailers, going to the mailbox, dropping them off, and just doing that every day. And I realized, well, dude, nobody's got time to follow up with the leads and identify additional opportunities or ways to provide these people with value. And Dale had been following up with me to work for me for like 2 years. So I called the guy up and I was like, today's your day, bro. And so he knew nothing about sales. He didn't know what a cold call was or what coffee for closers meant or ABC or any of that stuff. And his number one job was just pack up cash cards. And then as he kind of started hearing me on some calls or whatever, I just handed him the phone. I was like, here's Gunner, give him a call. And he's like, what? Like, what do I do? And I was like, just see how he likes the cash cards, just get to know this guy or whatever. And so slowly, Dale is a guy that's never made over $2,500 in a month before. He made over 6 figures in his first years in sales with me. And he still hardly knows what he's really doing. We've just created a ton of extremely valuable products that people enjoy. And so when we call them, more often than not, we're getting a really positive response, and people end up allowing us to show them the other things that we can do for them.
So when you started this whole process, did you think that it was just going to be all online based, you bootstrapping the majority of it, putting together coachings, maybe flying out to people, doing in-house coachings or little boot camps, getting to where you're speaking, and then kind of going that way? And then it was like, oh, these cash cards work. That was, revenue I didn't expect to have. And then, I guess if we can hire a couple people, then we'll just get them getting out there doing the cash cards, and I'll make the sales call. Well, let's get them doing the sales calls. They can do it. Now you've got what, 3 people under you, 4 people?
I've got 5 people now.
5 people. Really impressive. Now, they all selling, or did they have different roles?
All of them are selling. And then I'm hiring on the first of next month, a director of ops that's going to be really documenting and rolling out the real role of what our CSM department is going to look like for customer success and for, client support and all that nifty stuff. But right now, each one of my salespeople have been trained extremely well on the sales process, onboarding, and then also client retention. Our current churn rate right now is a mind-blowing 1.9%.
Really? That's pretty strong, right?
That's retarded.
That's ridiculous. So when you're bringing these people in that seem to be green, I'm assuming, when it comes to sales reps and you're training them, what's your first step? Do you kind of get a baseline of what you think they might know, and then you just put them through your exact program, or how do you do that?
I have, what's the best way of answering this? So day one at Stupar Enterprises, I basically run you through like, here's what we do, so that they can at least start kind of figuring that out. Because sales training isn't sales training. We don't sell sales training. We sell confidence. We sell swag. We sell fun. We sell, we change people's lives is what I like to tell my team. But that still is kind of too ambiguous for them to really kind of chew on, because it's not like you can make a cold call and be like, hey, we change people's lives over here. So you got to kind of, give them a little bit of a gradient learning process there. But essentially, yeah, I run them through my training programs and some of the high level stuff that our customers pay a lot of money for, like Sales Acceleration Program. That's a curriculum based 8-week program, just day by day. Here's one little new thing that you can improve on. And so I understand there's a hockey stick. My salespeople aren't going to be profitable for the first 3 to 5, maybe 6 months. That's just the way it is. I pay them a little bit of a salary. They also have the opportunity to earn a commission. And from there, it's just understanding our approach to creating relationships, because that's truly, genuinely what a good professional salesperson is going to do. So it's less about calling a cash card person and feeling the pressure of having to make a sale. It's a whole lot more about me checking in on, did you have any meaningful conversations today? So instead of looking at how many calls people are making, obviously I want to see a higher call volume, but I focus a lot in on the talk time. If you can rack up 3 hours of 4 hours, 5 hours of talk time in a day, dude, you're going to get rich. You're going to make a lot of money over here because you're having quality conversations and nobody's breathing down your neck to have you produce. So I have a very, very complex and extremely lucrative commission schedule that's going to reward that long term.
So I'm with you on that. So I always say around here, listen, we are quality over quantity. Until there is no quality, then we must have quantity. That's what I tell everybody. Listen, we meet every evening right before everybody leaves, and I'm like, how many good calls do we have today? Not how many calls we have. How many good conversations do we have? Like, how many conversations do we actually ask questions and get answers to?
Yep.
Not just, hey, we want to sell this and click. Not that. That doesn't count as, that's not talk time. Yeah, that's not talk time.
Exactly.
Sitting on hold for 30 minutes is not talk time.
Exactly.
Now, with the guys in the commission structure, and you said there's a little bit of a salary, is there an opportunity where they go off a salary, they're strict commission, to where they can make a large, significant chunk of money?
So they're going to have the opportunity to earn the large chunk of money from day one. So the commission schedule never changes, but they do get a 6-month salary. That's good enough to help. Trust me, they're not balling out of control or anything, but they're definitely going to be able to pay their bills and reduce the the commission breath, money hungry, like, dude, I need to get a sale or I'm going to have to quit. Like,
Sure.
so they have 6 months as an on-ramp, and I've never had anybody quit on me in all my businesses that I've started. I've never had a salesperson quit. And I've never seen anybody fail under my leadership.
Now, are you a firm believer in that as far as like giving sales guys a very strong commission plan and for an incentive for them to sell?
Oh, yeah. I was able to make $452,000 my best year in sales, and my commission plan is nearly double that of my former employer.
I love that.
I want to incentivize the people. My commission plan may change down the pipe for new salespeople, but for right now, this core team that I'm building, I want them to make a ton of money. I also understand as a business owner, I'm not going to be taking any money home myself personally for several years. Leaders eat last. That's just kind of the way that I go with it. So I don't mind overpaying my sales people and really helping them reap the rewards. My guy Dale made $35,000 in March this year. Like, writing that check as a guy that used to get them, writing that check and watching that money leave my bank account and ultimately go to a guy that's got 3 kids and a wife that's never, ever tasted anything like that was way more rewarding than me ever getting a $35,000 check. I love paying my people handsomely.
Well, when you make other people wealthy, they say you're going to just get, wealthy on the back end, but that's the key, right? How many people can we help? How many people can we make wealthy? And in logistics, I guess it's a little bit different than what you do. I would assume that the profit margins are not as high because, we're a very high volume ticket, not necessarily a high ticket.
Yep.
So, we operate, about 10 to 12%. So if we're doing $10 million, it's $1 million, yep. Right? So we're having to pay out people to do that. It's a little bit different. What advice would you give? So the majority of my audience is going to be people in transportation, logistics, supply chain. So if you had to give somebody like a quick tip, a free tip, whatever it might be, how do you sell a service over a product?
So a service is going to be something that is going to be custom tailored, hopefully, to the relationship that you create with the person that you're working with. I sell both. Like, a deck of cash cards is super transactional. It is what it is. I don't really come along with it. It's on you to pull out the cards, read them, use it. And if they work, leave me a review on Google, right. And then the service side of it, I have that as well, where, I'll be working with a business or an individual doing some continuous formal training with them. And the difference there is the relationship that you're creating and the way that you're able to custom tailor the solutions that you're providing to that client, while also creating a personal relationship with them as well, so that you can continue delivering that service and ultimately reducing the churn and making sure that that customer sticks around and continues to do business with you, regardless of pricing structure, regardless of all the other nuances in business. If you're able to establish that strong relationship, then you're always going to have a service to provide somebody. So
you would say relationship is key, people-driven business.
That's everything these days.
But it's really, that's the X's and O's, but that's the thing that everybody wants to forget. Everybody wants to, well, if you do this thing, if you buy this program, you're going to do this amount of money. It doesn't work that way. You got to do the work, put in the actions, and actually build the relationships. Our top customers over here are strictly relationship-based. It's just having to get the other ones that are transactional, turning them into relationship-based.
That's it.
A big thing for us is going out and seeing people. Does that work for you as well?
Absolutely. We have a customer that was on the training platform that you use and paying a whole lot of money for it. They're a large window company in Arkansas. They pay us double because I go down and see them. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And it was a 3-day long sales cycle to lock in a multi-6-figure contract with this company. And, they're going to double their revenue at the same time this year, go from 50 million to 100 million. So yeah, I fly out and meet people when I have the opportunity to have dinner and drinks with folks and entertain them or go to their city. I'm all in, because I always tell people, you don't need more friends, you need more clients. Some of these clients that pay our bills and fund our company and pay Dale's paychecks and my other team, these are the type of people that, like, if my wife kicks me out of the house and it's like, hey, I got a couch to sleep on. Like, I got a friend as well.
Gotcha.
So relationships are absolutely everything in today's marketplace.
That's funny. You had a couch to sleep on, not just a customer. It's pretty good. So I need to go after some more couches is what you're saying. I need to go get me some people couches to sleep on.
My best advice is to go there with your customers. If you can just call them, not to upsell them or even check up on your product, but just once every so often, like, Gunnar, dude, what's up, man? How's it going over there? I saw on LinkedIn, whatever, that you recently, went on date night, or you went and visited that place, or you had a kid, or whatever is kind of on the news feed. You can use any of that just to say what up. Oh, by the way, got to go. 2-minute phone call, and leave that other person like, damn, that person actually cares about me.
No, that's really good advice. See, everybody thinks that follow-up is all about grabbing business, right? Follow-up is just about being in their face.
No,
being on their mind.
The biggest sales tip I can probably give anybody is that follow-up isn't anything other than 75% entertainment and 25% education. That's it.
So talk about that for a second, because I've heard you say that before, and I've heard other guys that I think that are really good sales influencers, I guess we would say, that also I think fall into the marketing category. But sales influencers, they say that it's entertaining, it's acting, it's a gimmick. Like, be high energy, take your energy and transfer it to the person, because that's going to make them want to deal with you a little bit better. So kind of talk on that a little bit.
I realized that the 99% of my follow-up approaches, the strategies and things that I use to deploy follow-up efforts on people, none of it has to do with me asking you about the proposal and did you have any questions. I can only do that one time before you start blowing me off and you're like, dude, he's just calling to check in on the proposal. But, if I can start entertaining you, if I can go on your LinkedIn, find out that you're a racing enthusiast, a wrestling enthusiast, you enjoy, the Doobie Brothers, whatever. Like, that gives me unlimited ability to reach out to you and entertain you with stuff that you're already interested in. And so I'm gonna jam down your throat articles, videos, podcasts, photos, images, GIFs, memes, whatever, of stuff that you probably are already going to be interested in, might even see by yourself. And I don't have to reference our deal because you already know why I'm talking to you. And so if I can entertain you 75% of the time, it's not that I'm just entertaining you. It's because I'm keeping your attention. I don't care if you text me back. I just want to make sure that that text message gets opened, because that's an impression, and all my marketers know that. So if you guys take a page out of, say, Coca-Cola's playbook, Coca-Cola spends $5.5 billion a year on advertising, and they're also, as I've heard, the third most recognized logo or brand in the world, behind the Jesus cross and behind the golden arches of McDonald's. So if you have that much brand recognition and that many people know who you are around the globe, why on earth would you spend such a significant amount of your revenue on marketing? Well, it's because we got to entertain you, because Jordan doesn't drink soda, but except for maybe once or twice a year. And so all that Coca-Cola is doing is using that marketing budget with the polar bear, trying to entertain me during Christmas. They got, Kylie Jenner or whoever is hot, in the influencer marketing, drinking a Coke, doing the on the off chance that, the day that Jordan Stupar wants to fill his body up with sugar water, it's like, dude, please just do it with us over here at Coke and don't do it with Pepsi. And that's all that salespeople have to take home as a lesson is use the polar bear, use Kylie Jenner, use what's new and current, and just give that to your customer as a reason to actually connect and have a conversation, because sooner or later, the conversation is going to be, you know what, man, honestly, I haven't been blowing you off. We've just been super busy. I fired this executive over here and we had to replace him. It took a long time. So that's why I've been taking your calls. But like, literally, we're going through our budget right now. We should probably be able to move on this contract next month. And it's like music to your salesperson's ears, because they brought it up. I didn't have to continuously beat you up to pull that from you. So in today's world, like, stop selling stuff. Like, just start entertaining people and start educating them.
That's why I think that every independent pro wrestler. So I did pro wrestling, do pro wrestling,
Oh,
right? Big
I
pro
can
wrestling
tell.
guy. So I did it. So I got recruited out of college to go into pro wrestling. And then I just kept doing it. Now my 6-year-old loves it. Now he doesn't want me to stop. So I still do it once a month just to keep him entertained. But the aspects of pro wrestling and the gimmick of pro wrestling and the whole game, you take that into sales and you start I always say I'm going to pro wrestling logistics. Well, what's that mean? Well, I'm going to create fake drama in the industry with the competitors to get my marketplace known there. That's how you're going to know me. I'm going to start poking and prying, even though you think it's real. It's probably not. I'm just messing around with you. And then when I go to their comments and I see their customers comment on their stuff, I'm going to go be the best comment on their post because they already set the platform. And then I'm going to infiltrate. And then I'm going to have my guys doing it on the sit. So I want to talk to you about social selling, like the social presences, because that's what I've been really studying here a lot recently. And it's mainly marketing, but trying to figure out how to do it myself. Like, what's your personal brand strategy? Because I know you got your podcast. You can plug that here too and all your stuff. But what's your social selling, social platform, personal branding strategy?
Great question. And something that obviously I put a lot of attention on. I think the thing that a lot of people get hung up on when it comes to having a personal brand is not having it because they don't want to get started on it. Everybody wants to be an influencer and have 1 million likes and 50,000 shares and go viral and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But that's just not realistic, especially if you're starting out. So the good news is that if you're just thinking about starting a personal brand, do it. The reason why you want a personal brand is because customers, especially B2B, I know that we're on LinkedIn here. So especially with B2B, 72% of B2B decision makers are actually going to make a decision or be influenced on making a decision to work with another company based on the research and the branding that they're able to find from the sales professional that works in that company. That's something you're going to want to repeat so that you can figure that out. It's something I'm working on with my team right now because they come from nowhere. They have no followers. They get 12 likes when they post something, whatever. They're like, why would I post a photo of my desk and talk about working at Stupar Enterprises? It's like, well, because it's a story. Sooner or later, a guy like Gunnar is going to watch you. And my job is to brand myself. So let me reverse back real quick. My job is to brand myself. If any of you guys are interested in creating a personal brand, I've been building a personal brand for nearly a decade. I have, I don't know, probably about 120,000 followers, like total all throughout social media, and it keeps on growing, especially TikTok these days. Good Lord.
Right, dude, my first video did 70,000 views. Had no clue what I was doing. I was like, this is stupid.
Dude, mind blowing. TikTok's reach and virality ability is untouchable right now on social media platforms. But the point is let's talk about that real quick, because this is a perfect example. I'm a nobody on TikTok. I started with 0 followers like a month ago. So it's like, who do I want to be on TikTok? Well, I'm going to be the same guy that got me 80,000 followers on Instagram, got me 4,000 subs on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And so I base my brand on the three things that I want you to automatically associate with my face, my logo, a song that I might use in the beginning of my pod. Like, what are 3 things you can bank on if you hit the follow button on Jordan Stupar that you're going to get daily that is going to be entertaining, inspirational, whatever? So there's 3 things, and you guys can all think deep and hard about what you want your 3 things to be. But for me, my North Star is going to be sales. That's why I was easily able to start my sales training company, shut it down, and start a sales CRM and immediately have significant amounts of success, is because I'm just moving one notch to the left on sales. Now it's a sales technology. You're all in sales. You're all use CRMs. Here's a new one. So that was my North Star. Bullet point number 2 is, if you hit the follow button on Jordan Stupar, you're never going to hear stuff you've heard before. Well, maybe worded a little bit differently if I'm talking about something from the past. But I want people to associate my brand with something new, something that's fresh, definitely not old, something millennial, something that's just kind of current and new. And then the third thing for me is I want it to be entertaining. And entertaining, by the way, doesn't mean that like I just do stand-up comedy about sales in a new way on Instagram. It's going to be, it could be sad. It could be a transparent story about a loss that I took because that's entertaining, that you'll read through that and be like, damn, dude, him too. Like, I went through that too, man. Like, I'll comment. And that's, by the way, a huge, huge, huge hack on social media, is to share your losses and your lessons. But also, like, it could be inspirational. It could be motivational. It could be funny. Maybe I poke fun at an old sales book that doesn't really, suit today's buyers the best, or whatever that might be. I see that stuff work extremely well. And from there, you're just being frequent and you're being consistent with your posting, and also obviously engaging back with the people that are engaging most with you. And I think that's been my secret to good success. I've not gone viral, and I might not be the person you want to hear these things from, because I don't have a billion followers like, Kim Kardashian or something, but it's worked very well for me. I've generated tens of millions of dollars on social media, and obviously have no plans on stopping that, because it's easy pickings.
Well, you don't have to have millions of followers to be a guy that's a social seller or have a presence. Dude,
No.
you had 1,000 people that buy from you every month. You got 1,000 followers, you're good, bro. Like,
you're
good.
Great.
So to have 100,000, if you take 10% of those people, you just convert those. I mean, think of it that way. People see all these huge influencers. They're like, I'm never going to be The Rock. I'm never going to be, Kim Kardashian. No, but you can be you. And how many followers can you get? How many people can you actually get out of those followers to actually talk to you and relate with you? And that's really all. That's what I'm starting to learn. All it is, like, because I was that guy that, I was like, when I'm done with college, bro, I'm done with social media. I'm getting out of it. I got out of the game. I deleted all my stuff, and then I got back into it, and I got on YouTube just to do the podcast and stuff. And I was like, man, I wish I had my old following. That'd been cool to kind of like throw those people in there. Now I don't, whatever. And then here recently, my buddy goes, hey, you need to get on TikTok and just put your stuff. You already have hundreds of episodes. You got so much backlog. Clip that stuff, put it on TikTok, and see what happens. The first 3 videos all did over 10,000 views. The first one did 75,000 views. I had zero clue how that worked.
It is literally insane what you can do on TikTok. I just have a lot of Instagram reels that hundreds of those type of videos. So I just create a bunch of drafts on Sunday night, and like, I'm doing 5 posts a day on TikTok, just aimlessly, just whichever one it is. I have one that yesterday I had 250 followers. I had one video last night that I posted that now has 41,000 views, and I'm at almost 700 followers on TikTok. Like, it just things on TikTok, and for no good reason. Like, it's not that good of a video compared to a lot of the other ones from a quality perspective, a value perspective, but it hit. I don't know the rules of
YouTube
TikTok.
Story. Same thing with YouTube Stories. YouTube Stories
I've had a couple
more
of
views than YouTube videos.
within minutes. Like, I posted one again, just at random, like, here's just a vertical video, upload it, and literally like 7 minutes later it had like 6,000 views. I'm like, how does this work? Like,
and
tell
then it
me
just
this
stops.
sorcery.
Then it just goes away. Then it just like it dies. Like,
and then you put,
so weird.
Then you put your one favorite video that is just going to be shared 1 million times, and it gets like 12.5 views. And then you feel deflated. And then but that's the thing that I'm really realizing right now, is it doesn't matter. You just have to hit the post button and just keep on throwing darts at a dartboard. Sooner or later, you're getting bullseyes, man. It might not be all the time, but you're going to find that bullseye. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, as they say.
That's true. That's true, man. Well, hey, dude, what's next for Jordan Stupar? Like, what, you've done all this, you've built it up, you got your team. Like, what's the next, 2-3 years looking like?
We own a good amount of real estate here in Milwaukee. We're going to keep expanding that portfolio. My wife and I, she's a top 10 real estate agent here in Wisconsin. I've got a kid popping out in like 45 days, buying a new house.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. And then from there, I'm just going to continue evolving Stupar Media Group. Stupar Enterprises. We just launched Stupar Media Group, which is a premier video editing company for small businesses and individuals looking to save time and have more of a presence on social media. From there, I have several other departments and businesses that I'm going to be building within the Stupar Enterprises portfolio. And, I'm just going to work lights out for for the rest of my life because I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. I love the challenge of entrepreneurship, and I'm just addicted to watching people accept and appreciate the value of some of the things that we work really hard to build.
Well, that's awesome, man. And listen, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. I know it's kind of hard to connect with some people on here, and you got to cipher through like who's good and who's not or whatever. I really appreciate you coming on to the show and talking with me, selfishly for me, not even for the audience, selfishly for me. I hope that we can stay in contact, man, as you move forward and get you back on, maybe a couple times a year or whatever, just to check in, say what's up. And if I'm ever in Milwaukee, I'm definitely going to hit you up because you're the only person I know that would be up there. Same thing for you. If you're ever in Chattanooga, you ever come down to Chattanooga, hit me up.
Yep,
love to go
absolutely,
out
man.
Or whatever.
I really enjoy Gig City, man. I'll be down there again one of these days.
Man, you know a little bit about us, huh?
I've been down there. I spent 2 days with Gary Vaynerchuk 2 years ago.
At Vayner, okay, yeah.
Yep, because he has it's not Vayner Media, or I think it was
Vayner
Sasha Media or something. They have a little spot
the
there.
Sasha Group.
Yep, Sasha Group. I was out there for a couple of days, and Gary had a whole day with us. And so, dude, it's a beautiful city, lots of history, and some awfully quick internet.
The fastest internet, supposedly they say, and it still breaks up. I don't know what the problem is.
That's what they say.
So last thing, I always ask this to everybody that comes on the show, especially in the sales world. If you could give any aspiring salesperson or maybe some old vet that's stuck in his ways one tip at the end of the episode to get out of a rut or to start their sales career, what would you tell them?
If you're in a rut, getting started, having a good time, keep going. Like that's it for me. I've been through challenges and seen problems that most people never will. And look, good times, they don't last. So beef up, keep working, stack it up, make sure that you can prepare for a bad time. And if you're in a bad time, understand that they don't last either. It's just a circle. And the only thing that you can do is just be the best that you can be through each and every single moment. Just never quit, never give up. And quite frankly, embrace the challenges, because you'll never, ever be without them.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're busy. Get back to it, man. Keep grinding. You still got several hours of sunlight over there. So stay at it and enjoy your family, and best of luck to you, man. I
appreciate you, Gunner. Thanks for having me on, man. And we'll definitely be chatting soon.
Yes, sir. I'll see you later, bud.
Take it easy, man.
Bye. All right, guys. Hey, Jordan Stupar. Enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys got some value from the episode. If you did, boom, leave a comment below. This will be jumping out on YouTube later tonight. We'll make it go live at 8 p.m. So YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everything. You can all check it out. I appreciate him coming on. He didn't have to do that at all. I know he's a busy guy. So the fact that he did, I hope you guys can jump on, grab some value, take some of the free tips that he gave you, and keep pushing forward. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. Chat with Gunner. See ya.